Different podcast. I'm your host, Nekesa Esther, and I hope you'll enjoy this episode. Karibuni.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ras Wang.
Shukran.
You can see how I've been bubbly and energetic since you landed.
Wow, super. Nashukuru.
Please introduce yourself to the Be Different podcast guest.
Well, my name, as you have mentioned, is Ras Wang. That's my stage name. People also call me Murimi Manjani. That one is out of one of my songs that people love so much. It's a song about where I was born and the things that we do, because we are tea farmer. I come from a place where we farm the tea. So I sing about the tea farming and all, and you know, the surrounding experiences and all that. So people call me Murimi Manjani. So Ras Wang, Murimi Manjani. Thanks to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. Guys, Ras Wang was my classmate.
Oh.
It's been so long. We are seeing each other after, I don't know how many years.
Quite some
We
years.
stopped counting.
Quite some years. But, you know, we keep connected.
Yeah. So he saw the Be Different podcast and was interested, you know, in coming over and sharing with us his story. And of course, I mean, guys, you need to hear this. So Ras Wang,
Yes.
tell us a little bit of your story and how you ended up where you ended up. Please don't hold back.
Well, my story is a bit long in the sense of, you know, my growing up. I'm born in the village. I'm a village boy. And being born in the village, we don't always have this exposure to you know, to art and, you know, this kind of, at least from where I come from. Hatukuwa na ile exposure sana ya the art, you know, playing music and all that. I was just there in the village. Maybe playing with my village mates, you know, and growing up in that kind of a rural background. And going to school, you know, and tukienda shule, you know, we are always being asked, what do you want to be? And for me, I always wanted to be an engineer. I don't know what was it in the engineer. So what do you want to be? Engineer. Maybe at one time of my life, I learned there was something like civil engineering.
Okay.
So what do you want to be? Civil engineer. So that was a thing in me until I did my high school and I performed well and I was called to Moi University to do civil engineering. And I went there for the first week, 2 weeks. Then the third week I was feeling like, no, this is not what I wanted.
You had already gone for those 2 weeks. You've been in class, or you've just been in the
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 weeks I was in the engineering class. But I each and every day I was feeling, no, this is not what I wanted. Deep within me, I always imagined that engineering was very creative, you know, it's something to create and to, you know. But then I met with all these, you know, the subjects and everything, the physics, the chemistry, they were still the same old subject that I had in my high school, and I thought, come on. So that's when that creating bug, that's when it really hit me, and I decided I'll change. So I changed and I went to do film and theater, which we call creative arts. And that's how I ended up in the Department of Creative Arts. It wasn't an easy decision. It didn't go down well with so many people.
I can imagine.
Because some people felt I let go what was really important or what was the thing.
Let me just cut you short.
Yeah.
You're coming to the university from, according to you, you've grown up a village boy.
Yeah.
You knew about civil engineering. You came all the way. You didn't know about all these other. Did you know about these other degree courses?
Not really. I think that's also a missing gap. That's a missing gap. I don't know whether things have changed now, but in our time there was that missing gap in that we were not having the full information of even what a course expects. So for me, you may think that I knew what civil engineering was all about, but maybe I just knew it's to be an engineer, you know, and I didn't know the underneath it all, what it was all about, what it needed, what it would require, you know. So even if academically I was able, but my muscles and my focus was not into that.
But you clearly knew how engineering was almost the preferred, glorified option
Yeah, definitely, you know, yeah, I mean, you're coming from the village and you can be the next engineer, you know, for parents. That's something they are very proud of. Eh?
Yeah. So when you learned in the university, is this when you learn about other degree courses available?
No, actually, actually I dropped the course first and went home.
Oh.
I just did that one evening after class. I packed my bag, left the uni and went home.
Wow.
So when I got home and, you know, trying to find myself, that's when I came to learn, you know, there is something close to what I wanted.
So how long did you stay home when you
I think I stayed home for around a month or something.
Wow.
Yes, and it took an intervention of one of my aunts, who is quite close to me and quite concerned about my education and all that. And she is also educated and all that, so she knew that there was something that was close to what I wanted. And she advised me that I could do that. So now that's when I made the follow-up, went back to uni and, you know, did the faculty change. And finally, I ended up at the Faculty of Creative Arts. And my friend, that's when I started to feel life at the uni. You know, that's when I also started to enjoy life at the uni. I started to realize that there is weekends. You see, now weekends I could leave the uni and go to town to look for the bands that were playing. That's how I met Jamnazi Africa, and I became quite close to them. Through them, I learned a lot of music. So for me, I always feel it's good to follow your heart.
So those 4 years when you learned about creative arts and you made the change and you moved, now you felt your academic was in line with your passion.
True.
And it was in there's this word I'm looking for. It was aligning. Like whatever you were learning in class was what was happening on the ground, or it was growing you as a person.
Well, I just felt now I'm at ease to be at the uni. I started to enjoy life at the uni. I started to feel that I was pursuing something that I was enjoying. I started to feel like I wasn't struggling. You know, back where I was struggling. Each and every day was a struggle. You wake up and you feel, oh man, we have this class today. We are meeting with this professor today. You know, the vibe wasn't good. I was losing myself. But now I started to feel the good thing about it. You know, you go to the art classes and, you know, what is being talked about, you can feel, you can relate to it, you know. And when we started to do the projects also, I could feel, you know, because when we were in first year, second year, there were a lot of auditions for these fourth years and third years that we could join their plays and such things. You see, for me, that experience, like, immediately I went to that department, I went for an audition and I was taken to do a play, and wow, that's what I wanted. You know, it's something to create. So yeah, you see, I mean, for me, those are the things I enjoyed. And then I could also now start to go out, you know, meet artists outside in town, you know, relate with people who are now doing this, earning their bread from this. For me, I wanted that, and I couldn't do that when I was in the engineering department. So that way I felt liberated.
Did you also end up making a music video? I remember we made a music video.
Yes, at the uni I was struggling to do with recording and all that. I wasn't still there because, okay, I've told you I'm coming from a background. For me, music, I must say that music is not, there are people who are born with a silver spoon, you know? And I believe for the art also, there are people who are born with a silver spoon in art. This person just sings and you feel, wow, you know, there are such people. But for me, I'm that person who chose to do this because I felt I needed to create, to express, to tell the world about me. So for me, it hasn't been easy. It's never easy. Each and every day my music is never easy. I struggled to practice. I struggled to get a guitar. That was also a story I'll tell. So for me, music never comes to me very easy. I struggle to create. But it's that thing that each and every day I'm called to. For me, it's something that I can do anything for the music. And it gives me the real satisfaction within me. When I sing my music and people get happy or they feel me and they tell me, hey man, tunakufeel. For me, that's the best thing. You know, that's the best thing. I think that one goes above. If I could be an engineer and build a house, that it will be there to be said, oh, that one was built by Wang, you know. For me, when I sing and people feel the music, that one's cheers for me.
Tell me now, your journey after we graduate, everyone goes their separate ways.
Well, after graduation, I come to Nairobi because, you know, after graduation, you can't go back to the village. You have to look for a life, you know. So I come to Nairobi, and where do I begin? Okay, I have my degree in theatre and film. Where do I begin? Which work do you apply for? But God is good. God is always good, and there is always an oasis somewhere in the most dry desert. Kule njangwani kabisa lazima ukue kuna mahali kuna kachemichemi hivi kamaji. So I remember during these last days of our uni, we are seated somewhere in a club with some of my friends, and a song plays on TV. I think that place was called Comrades or something, Comrades somewhere. Yeah, and a song plays on TV, and I ask, man, kumbe Kenya kuna wasanii wakali hivyo. And then one of the guy there just says, huyu msanii namjua, huyu msanii ni wa mtaa yetu. So another guy said, wewe unajua kila mtu. Then just to prove that he knows that guy, he goes into the wallet and gets this job card. Okay. And it's of that guy. Okay. You see, the song shows you audio by, video by. So he removes a job card that, yeah, sure, that guy is singing on TV, this is his job. So I took the number and put it on my phone.
Oh, wow. So
when I got to Nairobi, and I'm looking for where to start, how do I begin? You know, I'm also learning. You see, I'm also in that part. I'm not good. I'm also trying to learn about the industry. So that's when I remember there was this guy, I put his number and, you know, on my phone. So I look for the number. Luckily, it's there, and I call him. His name is Juma Tutu. Juma Tutu is, he has become a very great mentor to me. I salute him. He is a guy who loves music. He is growing from a music background. He is a brother to Nyotandogo, so they come from a very musical background. He has a band that's called Swahili Jazz Band, and he has been doing a lot of these big, you know, gigs, Safaricom Live. He was there, you know, he does a lot of playing music, you know, in the big clubs and all that. So I called him and told him, hey, Juma, my name is Wang. I've just finished uni, and I don't know where to begin, man. I'm an artist. So he told me, come, we meet. So he invited me to his place. And I think when he met with me, he also felt my vibe or something, because he gave me a chance to be with him. So for the next 6 months, I was living at his studio. Wow. He gave me a place. He just took me in. He just took me in his studio. He gave me a place where I was sleeping. Okay. So every day they practice, I'm there. I'm the one who woke up, cleaned the studio, you know, made it ready so that when the other musicians are coming for practice, then when it's time to go and play, maybe during the weekends when they have gigs here and there, I would make sure that I help here and there, take the equipment there. So that's how we came to know each other. And he has been very encouraging along the way. And today now I'm very glad that we are able to do projects with him and with his band. And I'm also looking forward to greater things. So that's how it was after my uni. Well, it wasn't easy, but I thank God there was that oasis, or, you know, a direction somewhere.
So did you start singing with them?
Not really. I didn't start singing with them because Juma listened to me and what I had. I've told you my music is, I'm not born with a silver spoon musically. You see? Yeah. I believe in Kenya there are guys who have like that in talent. Huyu akiimba tu nyote mnanyamaza. You know, for me, my music is, I struggle to learn the music. And it helps me to express who I am and to express my world and to tell my story. So Juma listened to me and felt where I was and he advised me, you know what, you need to practice on your instrument. You need to work on your instrument. You also need to try and go into the studio to record something so that you can listen to yourself and people can listen to you. And I followed that, and he gave me a contact to a studio that I can start to try and find out. Well, I wasn't able to work with that studio because when I went to that studio, their costs were so high. But you know, at least I got a direction. From him, I got a direction. So I kept practicing on my guitar. I kept practicing with the singing, and I also tried to look for places I could record. Luckily, I also met with a guy who we were with at uni. His name was GKV Samora. He was also a guy who was trying out musically, and now he had a studio in Nairobi. So when I met with him and I expressed, you know, my interest to record, he offered me a good deal, you know, to record my first songs. And luckily, out of those songs, something came out of them that, you know, connected with the world and started to open chances for me. I started to get invitations for shows, radio shows, here and there. You know, people start to learn about you. Yeah, slowly, slowly, and, you know, the world, the windows, the doors start opening up slowly, slowly. So, yeah.
Wow, that is such an encouraging story. I'm sure some young person is listening somewhere and they're like, yeah, imagine just one random phone call to a stranger. So tell me, how do other pieces of your life come together? From here, you have other things that you're interested in, that you incorporated in your life. How is your growth? How did you navigate growth, you know?
Well, are you talking about growth musically
as
or
person,
growth in
as one,
as me?
As one.
And you know, a person has different
that's the thing I'm asking.
perspectives.
Different perspectives. How do you incorporate them to this person who is, you know, so passionate about something? You're living, you're seeing the challenges, there are economic challenges, there are things that you're meeting along the way.
Well,
do you
Esther,
continue living in Nairobi? Tell us, did you?
Well, let me say one thing is I've learned over the years not to struggle with my inner feeling. I let it be. That is something that I've learned over time. You know, to let life to flow. You know, don't struggle with things and plans and say this has to be, this has to be. So I know that's a great part of me. I let things be. And along with that, I thank God that things come to be in a way that I can be able to stand, you know, in the sense that you sit down and you look back and you say, God, mahali fulani nilipita, unaelewa? So I don't know which answer to give you regarding that, but I believe God helps me. Mungu ananisaidiaga sana. And that part of me that lets things be, you know. I believe life is supposed to be that. Life is something that should fit in. Life is not a struggle.
Things just fall into place.
Yeah, things should fit in, you know, and let it be. You know, you realize something good comes out of that, and we prevent a lot happening. We stop big things from happening when we struggle within ourselves to have things under control, to do things as we plan and as we wish. But sometimes if you just let it be, you see things start to fit in. And one day, even being here today, I just let it be, and today I am with you, Nekesa, and you know. So I'm glad and I'm happy for that. For me, this also marks one of my biggest, you know, moments.
Wow.
My big moment is not in the awards that I win or, you know, the big places I go. My big moment is this, you know. So, yeah.
So, tell us about maybe your music, the things that you sang from then on, the you know, the labels, the records, or how you call the songs, and where people can find them.
Well, my music, as I told you earlier, my music is mostly inspired by my experiences of where I grew up. I come from a tea farming community. we grow tea. And tea is, for me, this tea crop is very important in our world today. Every day people take this beverage called chai. Whenever we have a problem at home, people get together to assist each other, you know, to raise some funds. They hold what we call chai, you know. That gathering that you call people, hey, niko na shida fulani ningetaka mkuje mnisaidie. It's called chai.
Okay.
To help maybe to raise school fees, to help maybe to raise hospital bill. Whenever a visitor comes home, the first thing we offer is chai. You see, so for us this beverage is very important. If you go into many of these big hotels, or even the smallest hotel, chai is in the menu, you know. But I come from where this crop is grown. But these people have no life, you know. Every day is a slave life, where you just wake up in the morning, you have this big basket on your back. You are on the farm picking this crop. When it's full, you have to carry it to the collecting center. You see, sometimes you have to wait there for it to be bought. Sometimes you are there overnight. It's a big struggle for my people back there. So for me, my music is inspired by a lot of that. I do music that tries to highlight that. Of course, here and there, I will involve some other subjects, but I love that I'm identified by that. And people call me Murimi Manjani, which means the tea farmer, because I sing about it. Murimi Manjani, oi, Murimi Manjani, Modeni, Murimi Manjani, oi, Murimi Manjani, Getonga, Bevokera, Okario, Modenya, Muroro, Kiande, oi, Keboy, Kevanda. You see, that's a story of what we go through, and that's my biggest inspiration. I would love to see my music tell that story, because I know our life has two sides, like a coin. On one side is a life that could be glorious. We grow a crop that the world appreciates, that the world loves. You see, that cup of beverage, of this tea, when you take it to the Palace Safari Park, Norfolk Hotel, it's very sweet, you know. But for the farmer, you know, his cup of chai is not very sweet. And those are my parents. You see, those are my brothers, my sisters. That's the community I'm born with, or born in. And it's not just my community. I see it in Kericho. I see it in Nandi. I see it in Kisii. I see it in so many parts of Kenya. People grow this and so many other cash crops that are very important, but they are not really getting the money. So my music is about telling our story, because I believe our story is glorious. Yeah.
That is so nice. Wow.
Thank you.
So how do you make your money?
Well, money, pesa.
How does money
Well,
come to you?
pesa with music, I like to be honest, pesa with music in Kenya is never really easy. And the problem is basically, first of all, in our minds. Because for most of us Kenyans, we believe if someone is an artist, he has to have this big life. You see? Our videos are full of us driving big cars, big houses, you know, clothes, expensive clothes, you know, all this. So for Kenyans, being a successful artist is about if you have a good ride, if you have a big house, you know, but that is so fake, you know, that's so fake. Some of these things are just props. So for me, I believe how I make my money is to let the story that I tell through my music reach out the right people, partner with the right people, people who feel that the story I have, I can bring it to the world, and they want to be part of that. And it may not be a lot of money. It may not be money that I get every day. I don't need to be making money on a daily basis out of my music. But I know there are people that I meet, the right partners. You meet the right partners who want to be part of this story. Like you now, Nekesa, You want to be part of this story. That's why you told Wang, come and be in this.
Yeah, sure.
And you never know who this story will reach.
Yeah.
Someone may be reached by this story and he gives me a call and tell me, Wang, your story imenibamba, and I want to be part of that, you see? And those are the doors that I like to see open. And right now I'm glad that I was able to touch, you know, an international NGO that's called Education Literacy Arts. It's an international NGO that deals with things of art and children with special needs.
Okay.
Special needs in the sense of these children wenye wanaripitiki classes sana. Unaona huku kwetu kuna wale watoto wanaishigi mtoto ako class 5 for the next 5, 7, 10 years. And not because these kids are not good, but because ka system kidogo pale ka education yetu, they don't care about this. Wanasema tu huyu ashikanishi, lakini kweli si ati they have a different way, you see. So they deal with that, and they got interested in my story through this song Murimi Manjani. So they gave me support to set up an art center. It's in a place called Ronyenjes, in a village called Kadhurire. That's where we are setting up the center. We already have a modern class. We already have a modern kitchen and modern administration block. We have modern houses to hold people, our guests there, you know. And now we are looking forward to be able to set up the studios. Once we set up the studios, then the place will be operational. So for me, that's what I feel my music should be. I don't feel my music needs to be this music that, you know, brings me a lot of money to have big rides or to have big houses. I believe some of those things just fall into place, man. And you have it.
Yeah.
And I just also want to be happy. I don't want to have a ride and then not be happy. Tunasikia zingine kuna sehemu afadhali kukuwa ati una kabike na umefurahi kuliko uko ndani ya V8 na unalia. So that's Wang.
Wow, I like that you're impacting your community.
Thank you.
You know, you've taken the change back at home,
Yeah.
and you're doing things differently like that. I mean, okay, thank you, Wang. So do you
Super.
want to tell us about your social life?
My social life. What about a social life? Tell me, what should I talk about in my social life?
Your friends.
My friends.
The things you do outside of singing.
First of all, let me talk about my family. I'm
Are
a
you
family man.
Are you yourself farming? Such things.
Yes, I'm a family man, and I have a son, and I'm expecting a daughter soon.
Congratulations.
So I pass my love to my wife, Yana, and to my son, Amani, and to my girl to be born. She'll be called Ida. So I pass my love. Also to my parents. You see, they are very supportive parents.
Yeah.
You know, they love me. And my friends, thank you so much. Also, they are a great part of me. And like you see, I'm part of also the community. For me, I'm that person who like really, you know, be part of the community. I won't say like I'm a savior to the community. No, I'm not a savior. But I just love to see that what I do can touch my community in a way that, you know, can elevate some other people out of my community, you know. And because I also see that we have a lot of talent within my community, but it's a talent that has no direction. And when your talent ikikosa direction, it becomes very dangerous. So you see, I would love to see that what I do also impacts on these young people and gives them a direction. I would like to hear many more singing about what we're experiencing rather than singing this. Because right now there is a lot of singing, but it's singing about, you know, this bend over generation, they don't even sing about relationships. They just sing about umekutana and that brief moment of whatever electricity was, whether it worked out or didn't work out. That's what they sing about, you know. I would like us to rise above that. And if we have to sing a love song, we sing a love song that really got, you know, meaning and fullness of If it was a breakup, let's sing about a breakup that has fullness. If it was about people coming together and it was good, let's sing about that meeting that was full of fullness, you know. And I believe we can achieve that. So that's what I wish my music or my work to do for my society and community. Yeah, so I have lots of friends out there. I meet with them, wanani big up, wengine wananiambia, "Hey, Murimi Manjani, ngoma fulani yako nilisikia ilinibamba." Wengine wananiambia, manze, na feel unafaa kuimba ngoma fulani. Wengine wananiambia, manze, si ufanye mazoezi mahali fulani. Ama kuna, you see, there are all these things that when you talk to people you get, you know. Sometimes it's very positive, sometimes not so positive, but everything is meant, you know, to guide you towards, you know, making it all fit together. And
tell me, do you have any specific plans maybe to impact? I really like the fact that you're working in the community, and now that you've spoken about the education bit, maybe young upcoming artists, do you have any plans for them?
Yeah, through the art center, there's a lot of plans. First of all is to make sure that we get the education bit, because that's what we missed on. So for us, we struggle a lot to learn, to get this skill. If it's the skill of singing, if it's the skill of playing instruments, if it's the skill of acting, if it's the skill of camera work, you know, behind the camera, front of the camera, all those, they need to be taught. So first of all, that's very important. And maybe we missed on a lot of that. For me, my other thing that I would love with these young people is to make the musical instruments to become household. Because I had a problem to get a guitar. When I told my parents that I wanted a guitar, because my parents were like, ukiperform high school, ukiperform vizuri high school, if you finish your KCSE and you perform well, we'll give you a gift that you wish. So when I performed well and I asked for a gift, I asked for a guitar. And they couldn't believe, I mean, you want a guitar. So I couldn't get it from them, you see, and that has taken me through a lot of struggles to find it. The first guitar I got was an old wooden guitar. I think a friend of mine who realized that I was really into this, and akapata baba yake alikuwa na kale kamzee kwa nyumba, akaniletea. So it was quite old. And I remember when I went to Moi University, when I reported, I had that guitar. And my dreads were very small, and that guitar very old. So my parents told me, no, we can't go with you to uni looking like. So I decided I'll take myself. You don't want to take me, I'll take myself. So I had my wooden guitar and my dreads. So I went to school. And you know, so for me, I would love to make instruments household. That instruments, our children don't have to struggle to get guitars, to get keyboards. I would wish to see this in the houses, because right now, even in our rural areas, we have electricity. So if it's something like a piano, it can be there. If it's something like a drum set, it can be in the house. You know, kids can learn this. I see this. Ukienda hizi na huku majuu, ukienda huko unapata kwa nyumba, there is a drum set there. There is a piano there. There is a guitar there. So these kids are used to this. But for us, I think that one is missing. That element is missing. So for musicians, they struggle a lot to learn. And I think this is something that they should be getting from home. Hata kabla uende to school to learn, you can have that instrument at home that umefamiliarize. When I got my first guitar, I didn't even know how many strings it should have. But I was so proud of it. I had my guitar, you know. So I believe some of those things ni zile za kujua pale nyumbani. And it's by making these things to be available and to be household.
Okay. Did you teach yourself?
I'm always learning. Even today, I sit down with my guitar, I struggle to learn something, you know. For me, it's a journey that never stops. But that one was inspired by Juma Tutu. He's the one who told me, like, you have to struggle with your instrument, teach yourself each and every day, keep practicing, And because I could see him, he plays saxophone,
Okay.
and he's really good. So you listen to some of my music, you can hear him playing there, you know. He's really good. So I could see him also doing it, you know, each and every day doing it. And when we go for the gigs, and then everyone was like, hey, so you see, I learned that that's part of the music.
Yeah.
And again, that's an element that we're also losing. We're having a lot of musicians, when you want to make everyday money, maybe as we tend to believe, everyday money, but bring them on stage, they cannot play the music, you know. So you go to listen to msanii, unasikia hiyo msanii manzi yako ana trend, huyo msanii manzi akitoa nyimbo hivi ikiwekwa social media iko na views nyingi sana, but you go on stage and the music is not there.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
That's why maybe we are losing out to Nigerians and Tanzanians and, you know, artists from abroad. Why? Because the growth yao ya music, it has taught them this value of playing the music.
Yeah, or the foundation.
The foundation of playing the music. For us, I think we quickly embraced this EDM music, electronic music. We quickly embraced it and forgot that aspect of really learning to play the instrument and struggling with that. And you come on stage and you realize that's where the music is. The real music is in that.
But I know, like some older generations, we're always looking for ways a band play. Some karaoke ways. There's that originality, quality. There's something that's not lost in there. Please comment on discipline. That's what I know we just mentioned it briefly as you were coming in. Comment on the levels of discipline, because in your life, no one is monitoring you. No one tells you what time to wake up, no one tells you what time to sleep. Some days you can choose to sleep in, some days you can choose to, you know. Slightly comment on your kind of life and the levels of discipline that you need or that is required.
Well, for me, I always think of my music as, I look at this guy who is selling a shop somewhere, and it's a shop that people depend on, and they go there every day, and if they don't find him there, how do they feel? Ama tuseme ni yu mama mwenye anauza mboga mahali, and you know this is where, if it's lunchtime, you want to make a quick lunch, you know you'll go to a certain mama and order for nyanya and what. So you go to there and you don't find them there. You see how do you feel? So for me, I always look at my music and I compare it to these people. You see, I take my music to be a shop. That if today I stop doing what I do, because it's not easy, it's a life full of sometimes challenges, and sometimes you create and you also feel like, because we have this being self-critical, you can be very self-critical and you create something and you feel like, I'm not hitting that bar, and then maybe you go under the waters, and then later on you realize there's a song that someone so loves, you know. There's one of your songs that somebody wakes every day to listen to, and they would wish to hear more of you, but then you have gone under the waters. So how do such people feel, you know? Because for me too, I have artists that I love their music, and especially I'm talking now about Kenya. I'm talking about Kenya. There are artists that I love their music, and I ask myself, where did they go? I'm talking about someone like Jack Mali. He has been a very good reggae musician. I don't know where he went to. There are so many of the Kenyan artists that we used to listen to, but we don't know where they went to. So we only have their songs from the back there, but today we would wish to listen to them. Where are they? So that's, for me, that's what I never wish to happen. I would wish to always be creating. I don't know which song reaches who or how, but I'd wish to always be creating and try to find avenues through which I can reach my people. This one being one of them. That's why now I try to be as disciplined. You know, when you tell me this is the time for this, I don't want just to start thinking, Esther sasa na yeye hiyo show yake kweli amesema iko hii masaa, si tunaweza ifanya masaa fulani. You know, that's what people try to do. They take things for granted, but you don't know. You don't know what that small, what you think could be small, you don't know how big that tree will grow. It's a small seed, but it will go into a very big tree. So for me, that's the discipline that I try to put into my music, and maybe I'll try to encourage the young generation, you know, to look at their work as that shop. That shop that if you go to and you find it closed, you wonder. Like in the village there, you know, we don't have so many shops, so there is that ka shop that sometimes hata kama una pesa, tenda umwambie wewe nikopeshe kesho. So you can imagine, the water is boiling for ugali. Unakimbia ugali kuendea unga, unapata is not there. You know, what do you do? So the same way with our music is that there's someone, you made that first song. Maybe for you, because you are self-critical, you didn't feel like it was hitting the highest bar. But there's someone who listened to it and felt, wow. Kuna ka story unasema hapo, kenye na feel. And I would really wish for that story to go on, but for you just go under. So you let that person, that was your number one fan, and you're letting them down because they don't have anything more coming out of you. So I would like to tell this, you know, younger generation that, you know, keep doing. Keep doing. Even when you feel that the bar is too high, you are not reaching there, keep doing and keep. You never know. You may have that one fan who really loves you, and whatever comes out of your mouth, they are listening. And that's the fun that you don't need millions. Well, we are living in the world today of trending, going viral and all that, but that's not really what the heart needs. The heart needs that one sincere listener who will listen to you and die with you. You know, that hata wakapata huko wanakuambia wewe amka bana, we still need you. That's the person who will keep you even when it will be very tough. And one day, one time, you'll be surprised. Utanyamaza tu unashangaa ulifika hapa aje. Naelewa. How did I get to be different?
I really like that. Ras, comment or encourage our fellow, it could be our colleagues, even our age mates, people who maybe didn't follow their hearts or their definition of, you see the way, I like your definition of success, it's different. I like the way you define what fulfills you, the impact in the community. I like the things that you're doing in the education space or the things that you plan to do. We have been challenged, guys. Those equipments, tunaenda kununua for the kids and put them in the house.
Super,
so
very important.
Comment, you know, we always say, let's encourage young people, but for some reason, when you were talking, I just felt like we need to encourage our own fellow guys, colleagues, people who feel like maybe they're too late to follow their dreams, or people who feel like my definition of success is not the same as the world. So why should I even start? Why should I even move?
You know, you reminded me that, and you know, coincidentally, when I met you today, you asked me about our graduation time. And right now, you just mentioned that, and you've reminded me that during our graduation day at the uni, there was a guy who came to me and told me, Wang, ningejua, ningehama na wewe. This guy was still stuck in that engineering department. You can imagine it's a 5 years course. All the others were 4 years, but engineering is a 5 years course. So you do your first year, second year, third year. I think there is a year that they get, whether third or fourth.
They become very few, they drop out.
Yes, so there's some kind of an exam or some kind of a bridge that there it's tough.
Stopped.
It's tough, you know. So you can imagine you losing your grasp pale. Umefika mahali hapo after 3 or 4 years into the course, you are told no, you can't go on. You see, and at home people know you are in school. Maybe you are not courageous enough to go and tell your parents, you know, enyewe mimi kameumana huko. I have to find an alternative. So this guy was still receiving money from his parents for school fees and all that. And he wasn't you know, learning. So now it's graduation day.
For us now.
It's a school. You see parents from the village or wherever you come from, they hire like a school bus to carry people from your locality to come to your graduation. So they believe this guy is graduating. you know, and he's not. Yeah? Hey, sasa, it was a bit tough, man. He tells me, Wang, ningejua, ningehama na wewe. That's the time he made me realize. I mean, so I just didn't do something that people didn't see. You know, I did something that there were people who felt, you know, for me it was, maybe I'm that kind of a person who will like make an abrupt change. When I feel it's done, it's done. So you see, there are people now who are living through that. I don't know whether this guy came to work it out, you know, to go back to first year in another course and begin, you know. So there are so many people out there who are living now that kind of a life. Yeah, it's a bit tough. I don't know. I don't know which therapy to give, you know. But for me, I've told you, I know there is a power in letting it be. Yeah, letting things be, you know. Don't be that person who struggles with everything, that everything has to be planned and to follow into plans. There is also power in letting be. Imekuwa hivyo, just give time. Give time and, you know, sit down, contemplate, you know, feel, and maybe you'll find, even among all the commotion, even in the midst of being lost, you know, unaambiagwa mwenye hajawahi potea hajuagi njia utafutwa. If you have never been lost, then you don't know that there comes a time when you have to find a way. So being lost is good in life. Being lost is not always bad. Being lost is good. Just that there needs to be that time when you realize, now I'm lost and I need to find a way. And it's not an easy time. It's a very tough time to come to terms with that you are lost. You're in the woods and it's late at night, you know, and when you listen out, you can hear hyenas and all the wild animals like zinawika huko, so you know you are lost now. It's about time to find the right way. You see, that time is very important in life, and we all go through that. It's just that for some of us, it's early. For some of us, it comes late. But we all go through that in life. So for me, I'll tell people to let things be. Learn to let things be. The world is a bit fast. Even Kenya is catching up very fast. I asked you, why are you chilled? Ukaniuliza, kwa nini unaniuliza I'm chilled? I mean, I go to some places or even stations where you go, where people are running around and you have no one to ask, where nani? Njia kwenda wapi ni unaelewa? So, I mean, coming here and I found people quite relaxed, at ease. And I think that's the tempo we need to adopt. The world is running fast, and even Kenya seems to be now running fast, but we don't need to also get into that rat race of life. Sometimes let's sit down, relax a bit and let it be. Yeah. Sometimes also give yourself a chance to lose. You have to lose to find.
Oh my goodness! I don't want this to end.
It can go on and on.
So nice, so sweet. I don't know whether you have a parting shot.
My parting shot is to people like you, Esther.
Yes.
Because what you're doing is very important. There are people who are dying out there with untold stories. But the mainstream media will go for the big shots. People who we feel now, these ones, they have a story to tell. But there are so many people out there who have stories to tell, and very important stories, but they never get a chance, you know. So I would like to tell people like you, or you, that you are very important, and you mean so much to our country. You are very important, and we value you a lot, and keep doing what you're doing, you know. Yeah, and shine on.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. All the guests you learn from Ras Wang. Thank you guys for watching the different podcasts. I know you've learned something or two. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and have a good one. Thank you.
Cheers to. Thank you. Murimi Manjani. Oi, Murimi Manjani. Modeni, Murimi Manjani. Oi, Murimi Manjani, Getonga, Bevakera, Ukario, Amodena, Mororo Kiande, Oi, Kevoy Kevanda, Eya, Etarabana, Sambevakera, Ukario, Amodena, Mororo Kiande, Oi, Kevoy Kevanda, Eya, Etarabana. Put Murimi Manjani in the house. Be Different podcast. Thank you. Love. Peace. Yeah.